All right, listen up. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to grasp a very peculiar aspect of Japanese conversation, so pay attention.
Look at this exchange. Hey, how's that thing going? Oh, that thing? It's already done. See anything missing? Yeah, there are no nouns, not a single one. And yet, for native Japanese speakers, this conversation is perfectly clear. Today, using intel straight from my own field experience, I'm going to explain exactly how that's possible. Okay, let's look at our first piece of intel. It comes from a very unique theater of operations, my husband's family home. We're talking about a highly efficient environment, populated almost entirely by INTJs. In my field reports, I just call it the kingdom.
Now, let's identify the key players. The persons of interest within the kingdom are as follows. We have the king, my father-in-law, the queen, my mother-in-law, the prince, who is my husband, then there's his younger brother, and finally, the young sage, my nephew. You need to memorize these profiles. And then, of course, there's the operative sent in to observe this whole unit. The field commander? That would be me.
Let's move on to the first incident report. The unit was reminiscing about a family trip to Hawaii, and the conversation that followed was, to put it mildly, completely baffling.
It started with the king. He says, "That thing was great, wasn't it?" The prince's brother replies, "Oh, you mean that thing?" And then the young sage just flatly states, "Not that one." My immediate assessment, I had absolutely no idea what they were talking about. My internal log was crystal clear. Actionable intelligence? Zero. There was nothing to go on. But the conversation continued. The queen jumped in.
That one, she said, trying to clarify. And then finally, my husband, the prince, he cracks the code. Oh, that, right. The pool at the hotel in Hawaii. And like a switch was flipped, everyone goes, "Oh yeah, that."
And my only thought, after all that back and forth, was, why on earth didn't you just say that from the beginning? Honestly, what an inefficient exchange. All right, debriefing time. Let's break down the linguistic cipher that made that whole exchange possible. What was actually being communicated here? So if we analyze the intel, here's the breakdown. The king's that thing, was specifically referring to the rooftop pool at their Waikiki hotel. The brother's incorrect guess, soar, was about a completely different infinity pool at another hotel. All of that specific information was packed into those tiny little words.
You see, the main weapon here is a grammatical tool called shishiyu, or shijigo. You might know it by its fancy linguistic term, deixis. Basically, these are pointing words. Things like kore, which is this thing near me, sore, that thing near you, and are, that thing way over there. Their entire meaning depends on the context. This is principle number 1. Got it?
But wait, there's more. There's a second principle at play here, and it's just as critical. Japanese frequently just leaves out the noun. So in English, you have to ask, did you buy the chocolate? In Japanese, if everyone knows you're talking about chocolate, you can just ask, did you buy that? The noun just disappears. The meaning is carried by the situation, and most importantly, by your shared memories. Now, just in case you think that Hawaii incident was a one-off, a fluke, let me present some more evidence. This happened on a totally different day during the king's birthday party.
The queen issues a command, "Bring that." Simple enough, right? Wrong. The prince's brother asks, "Which one?" The queen doubles down, "That one, that one." And then, right on cue, the young sage chimes in, "Not that one." And my internal report just read, "Pattern confirmed, here we go again."
This situation is a textbook case. The queen's soar, or that, was about the number candles for the birthday cake. The young sage's sorjanai, or not that, was to clarify that she didn't mean the regular candles. Now notice the words candle and cake were nowhere to be found in the actual conversation. They just existed in their shared understanding. And don't you dare think this is just a quirk of the kingdom. This tactical ambiguity is everywhere. Let me tell you about an incident from my own family home, featuring my father, who's a classic ESTP.
The situation was pure chaos. He was trying to watch a horse race, find his socks, and eat a rice cracker all at the same time. And he suddenly starts yelling at the TV, "Not that one, this one!" But he was frantically looking for his socks. My mother, who's also an ENTJ, just yelled back, "What are you even talking about?" It was absolute madness.
All right,
Time for your final orders. Let's summarize this intelligence so you can actually apply it in the field.
Commit this to memory. It all boils down to two core principles. First, a heavy reliance on those pointing words, kore, sore, are. Second, nouns are frequently omitted, replaced by shared context and memory. You combine those two, and what do you get? You get entire, complete conversations that use nothing but variations of that thing.
And now for your final piece of intel. When you're out there and you get confused, and you will get confused, do not come crying to me. It is part of your training. The truth is, even native Japanese speakers often have no clue what's going on in these conversations. But here's the good news. You will adapt. You will learn to read the context. You will get used to it. That's an order. Mission accomplished, dismissed.